appellate courts or another tribunal, commission, or administrative body. I was told, based upon information and belief, that when we arrived at 8:30, 9 o'clock today, we did not come into your courtroom until almost 11:30. And
so they're saying that the witness, Woody, showed up to the court early and he didn't come into the courtroom till 3 hours later. Why? They're saying that there was a conversation that was had before with the judge on some sidebar conversation, except it's not on the record. And it's actually called this thing called ex parte, but we'll get into that. But he's bringing up that, y'all convinced this nigga by forcing him and threatening him to testify, and that's not right.
What I found out just recently, this is not waived, is that supposedly in chambers, this honorable court reporter at times, honorable court at times, district attorney or district attorneys from the DA's office, as well as investigators, sheriff deputies, Mr. Copeland and his counsel met together. None of the defense team, to my knowledge, was aware that this was going on. It was told, based upon information belief, that it was told to the district attorneys that Mr. Copeland intended to plead the Fifth Amendment. Then I was told, based upon information belief, that Adrian Love, the lawyer for Mr. Copeland, and this court were together, and Ms. Love made representations that John Melnick supposedly spoke with some attorneys for the accused and wrote an email to Ms. Love, to Adrian Love, stating that Mr. Melnick does not represent the witness, and that Mr. Melnick wrote an email saying F you, and then somehow that email was CC'd to me. That never...
Mr. Steele, can I interrupt you just a second? I'm kind of disturbed because that's ex parte. All that was an ex parte conversation. How did you find out about any of that?
Well, I'm disturbed too. And the reason...
Ooh, okay. Now, let me give you the context of why they're disagreeing, and you could pick who you believe is right. Legally, I guess we probably both don't know who's right. So the premise of this argument that's about to happen, Young Thug's lawyer, okay, the guy with the silver hair or gray hair, he says, y'all had a conversation in your chambers that was disturbing to the process of pursuing justice. Okay, it feels like people were being harassed or coerced to be compelled to testify. That's not how the legal process goes, especially in private. Okay, if someone says on the record they're pleading the Fifth and they were down to get held in contempt, you can't then remind them off the record, you better do it today because we gonna lock you up again, and this time it's gonna be for months. That's what Young Thug's lawyer is saying. The judge is saying, wait. How do you know about any conversation that even resembles that? So it appears that the judge is saying that conversation might have happened. He's just saying, how did you know? You weren't invited. You weren't in the room. And he's saying, because, now it's more of a court procedural thing. The judge big dogs Young Thug's lawyer by saying it's a bigger and a more egregious offense to have spied or have eavesdropped or find out private conversations I had in my chambers than if I was doing something wrong. And that's the judge's point. So the judge is like, you gotta tell me how you found out, because if you don't tell me, that's a problem. But Young Thug's lawyer is like, fuck how I found out. If this is true, that's a problem. So he wants to talk about how they found out, the judge, and then he wants to talk about what they found out. And that's where they get crossed. Here's the conversation, and I gotta warn you, it's about like 10 minutes. Check it out.
I'm asking you a question. How did you find out about it?
I'm gonna ask you the question.
Okay.
Scuttle, if you look at SCU...
By the way, let me give you a better analogy. It's like your girl saying to you, you cheated on me with this bitch at this time. And now, here's the thing. You know she ain't go through your phone. You know she ain't got no track on your car. You know the only way she could have found out that you fucked that bitch is because that bitch called her and told her. You not even, so you change the subject. Yo, how you even know? You just want to know how the hell she found out while she wants to talk about, nigga, you cheated, nigga. So it's the most hilarious conversation in court context.
DDER versus State, which is 298 Georgia, 438. It's Division 2, 782 Southeast 2D 638, 2016. Our highest court says when a court meets, because Mr. Copeland comes in, meets with the court supposedly made statements, which I assume is somewhat accurate based upon what you just said. We're entitled, Mr. Williams and every other person wrongly charged here is entitled under the Georgia Constitution to be present. That's a critical stage.
It's just like when you meet with me and you and Mr. Adams meet with me and others have met with me. It's those are ex parte for a lot of different other reasons, but I will certainly note that for purposes of record.
Well, I'm going forward. What I was told was that Mr. Copeland said,
and you haven't answered my question yet.
I'm not going to answer that question.
You're not?
No, I will not answer that question.
Why will you not answer that question?
Because I want to make sure that what I say is accurate, and I'm not trying to get anybody else.
I'm asking you, how did you get this information?
I'm not telling the court. What I'm saying is based upon information.
Okay, well, listen, if you don't tell me how you got this information, then you and I are going to have some problems.
We can have this. I have problems right now.
Okay, I know. Look, I don't want to know about your problems, okay, at this point in time. All I'm asking you at this point in time is, how did you come upon this information? Look, if the case gets reviewed, the record's going to be available for our appellate court and for whatever reason. But it's disturbing that how somehow you have surreptitiously gotten information in regards to the court's private ex parte conversation with a party. I mean,
a witness who was sworn in Friday. The court's telling, this is what I was told. If this is not true, not true. This court handed Mr. Copeland.
Tell me how you got the information.
Listen, whatever you want to do.
Tell me how you got the information, then we can go ahead and go forward.
I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is this. I was told, and I hope this concerns the court.
It concerns me that you have proprietary information.
Why is it proprietary?
Or information that you should not be having that was ex parte.
Why?
With a party.
Why?
State of Georgia.
How about the witness? How about Mr. Copeland, who supposedly announced he's not testifying and he'll sit for 2 years, and then supposedly this honorable court, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. This court supposedly said, I can hold you until the end of this trial. Ms. Hilton supposedly said actually all of the defendants and then all 26 people are disposed of. If that's true, what this is coercion, witness intimidation, ex parte communications that we have a constitutional right to be present for. So I understand that you're upset towards me, but I don't know what I did.
Mr. Steele, I still want to know, how did you come upon this information? Who told you?
What I want to know is, why wasn't I there? Why?
Sir, I'm going to hold you in contempt if you don't tell me who tell me who this information was coming from.
I don't want to be held in contempt. Well, I'm not answering that question. That's attorney-client privilege information. I am not
attorney-client privilege. Unless you were in my chambers, that's the only way you can figure out.
I tell you
what, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't tell me if you don't tell me who it is, I'm going to put.
By the way, these two have been like at each other the entire trial. I'm wondering what's the ramifications. Like, Brian Steele operates in his court a lot. These two have been fighting, yelling at each other, calling each other unprofessional this whole time. Like, it's no way, like, they've disrespected each other professionally. And if you know anything about the legal process, a lot of these defense attorneys are mad buddy with the judge, because they kind of need a judge. These two, and by the way, this, you know what this has told me? Brian Steele, remember when he said he's gonna fight for Young Thug even if it's with the last a drop of blood in his body? It tells me, I don't know how much Young Thug paying him, but he's down to get locked up. He's down to burn relationships. He's going crazy for Thug.
I'm going to put you in contempt because that is not attorney-client privilege.
Attorney work product privilege. I am not.
How did you get that information supposedly from my chambers? Did somebody tell you?
I'm not. You should have told me.
You got 5 minutes.
Well, I don't need it. I want to continue.
You got 5 minutes?
This is what I was told. Mr. Copeland made statements that he admitted to killing Donovan Thomas and was. Don't take my notes. No.
I don't think Mr. Adams is back. I have a. He is. He's right behind you.
Sorry. I have a motion that I need to make outside the presence of Mr. Copeland.
All right, you can make it right now. Is he out?
Okay.
Deputies, Mr. Copeland and his counsel met together. None of it does not represent the witness to be present. That's a critical stage.
It's just like when you meet with me, and you and Mr. Adams meet with me, and others have met with me. It's those are ex parte for a lot of different other reasons, but I will certainly note that for purposes of record.
Well, I'm going forward. What I was told.
Okay. Now it gets more spicier, and I'm skipping past some parts because I don't want to bore us to death. So essentially what happens, right? The judge says, I'm going to give you a little while that you can rethink this. Remember, I'm the boss in this courtroom. I need to know how you found out this shit that you're accusing, and you're quoting specific things that you would only know if you were in that room. How did you find that? Basically, the judge is asking the lawyer to snitch on who told him that, right? And Brian Steele is saying, I ain't gonna tell you. Fuck all that. And the judge is saying, I'm gonna hold you in contempt, which means I'm gonna probably get you taken into custody or getting struck on the record. And this is the ultimate, this is the ending of all this right here.
In order, you need to please tell me who you got it from. I'm not asking you sum and substance of anything as of yet, okay? But I need you to tell me how you got the information. If you don't tell me how you got the information, I'm going to hold you in contempt.
I understand. I don't want to be held in contempt.
And I don't want to hold you in contempt, but this is so sacrosanct to have a conversation in my chambers parroted to you and others. It is that serious.
Yeah. And that's why I raised it. It is that serious that we should have been there and it shouldn't have happened.
Sir, that's a whole separate issue. And that's why ex parte conversations are recorded.
Why would it be ex parte? You're acting like it's ex parte under seal.
It's ex parte. It's ex parte because that's what the state asked me to do. It's just like when you asked me for an ex parte conversation.
I've never asked this honorable court or any court to meet with me and a witness.
Sir, you're straying off the issue.
I'm not.
The issue is how did you get this information?
I understand the issue. I promise you I understand it. But what I'm trying to ask you is if you look at comment 5, this is how I understand the law.
You cannot you can't violate something and then use privilege. Okay?
I'm not violating anything.
Okay, but that's why I'm saying, how did you get the information?
But just listen to what I'm trying to tell you. You're threatening me with contempt.
The privilege in 1.6 would occur if you were in the right place, right time to begin with. You weren't.
Let me tell you. I'm just reading from it. But if I'm reading it wrong, I'm not trying to. It says 1.6 applies not merely.
All right, so he's saying it's client privilege. The judge is going to say your client would have never known about this or known it as a fact. And also, if your client even did know about it, that means your client is communicating with maybe either court officials that would be improper, or communicating with the witness attorney or the witness himself, which is also improper. Anyway. They start kind of getting nasty with each other.
You're assuming something because I told you to 5 o'clock or thereafter. But one can't do that.
He's gonna say, I'm gonna put you in custody.
Yes, you can, because I have an idea how you got it.
Well, your idea.
I have an idea how you got it, but that's improper, sir.
Your idea may be wrong, and you're asking me to listen. I told you the first time.
By the way, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never seen this much back talking to a judge. Yo, they talking like homies, like. Man, any judge I've ever seen, they tell everybody to shut the fuck up.
And I'm not
sure. I don't want to hold you in contempt, but this is that serious, Judge. You cannot eavesdrop and get information that was not meant for you to hear at that particular point in time.
Judge, listen, and listen. I'll do whatever you want to 5 o'clock or thereafter. But what I'm trying to tell you is, Your Honor, This is so serious to me. We need a hearing, and I'm moving for a mistrial. It is my understanding, based upon information belief,
From
that
whom?
part of it.
From whom?
Well, I'd like to get the substance first, and then we can
Okay,
talk.
well, then you'll be in custody until then, because because you need to tell me how you got the information. I'm not asking you what was said. You've already kind of given us some snippets of what you said. That tells me that somebody parroted that information to you. So,
But you're assuming something because I told you already.
well, then, other than if you were sitting, unless you were sitting in there with a recorder, or Miss Love or Miss Hilton, or one of the deputies gave you that information, or Miss Weaver shot you a rough copy of the transcript, there's only one other person that's left.
Well, Your Honor.
And if that person gave you that information or shared that information with you, she probably violated privilege.
Well, let me tell you two things. One, I don't know how that is a privileged communication. It shouldn't have been.
Well, it's because she has a client she's supposed to represent.
Who are you talking
But
about?
anyways, I'm not going to have a.
When I got this information.
I'm not going to have any further conversation
Well-
with you about this. I want to know, the question still remains. I want to know who gave you the information?
I'd like to know what information happened outside our presence. That's really it.
He can go into custody at this point in time.
I think that the court needs to again declare a mistrial based upon.
Okay, and I'm going to deny your motion. I'm going to deny your motion.
I
for
understand that you
mistrial.
spoke with a witness outside of our presence.
And whenever, yes, I had an ex parte conversation, which is appropriate.
And you influenced the witness based upon information belief, and I'd
So he's saying he influenced Woody to testify.
like to have that all on the record.
All right.
I mean, I don't know why that's so hard to do. If nothing happened bad, that's fine. But you're acting like, tell me who it is and don't talk about the substance. Why can't we have an issue that was outside of presence? It should not have been.
Because you got some information that you shouldn't have gotten.
Why?
Well, that's for another day.
But why?
Okay,
Why
that's for
did we
another
exclude
day.
in the first place? I didn't know about this stuff.
That's for another day. So
I raised it as soon as we found out about it.
Well,
I gave you the case I'm relying on. I assume you read it. If you didn't read it, you should read it. It's a material part, a critical part of the case. When a judge speaks with a witness outside the presence of the accused, the court has said it's right there in Division 2.
okay.
That is a material or critical part of the case, and it's an automatic reversal.
Mr. Steele.
But you're acting like it's
Mr. Steele,
private.
that is not when.
Okay.
I'm respectfully requesting the transcript that you mentioned to be given
Everything
the
gets
issue, isn't
denied.
it?
On record.
And let me get to the part where he actually gets arrested. Okay. Here, this is how it goes. So this is the other Young Thug attorney who basically, the judge is going to say, hey, we're taking this nigga into custody. And the other attorney says, well, we can't deal with this case without our lead guy. And the judge is going to say, I don't give a fuck.
Ms. T. Williams? All right, thank you, madam. Motion's denied. Mr. Garner?
So again, that's what I'm saying. Everybody follows behind Young Thug's attorney. When Young Thug's attorney goes for a motion for mistrial, every other attorney, like random attorneys, say, hey, we got something to say. What? Motion for mistrial? Yeah, what he said. Y'all shouldn't have met with the fucking witness. So the judge is denying everybody, right?
Okay, so noted. All right. Okay, Mr. Steele, last time. Who told you? All right, Mr. Steele's in custody. And once he clears the area, we'll go ahead and get started.
So he basically tells the bailiffs to arrest him.
Yeah,
Now this is another one of Young Thug's attorney who's then saying, hey, it's impossible for us to go forward without this guy.
we're going to continue. I'm not caught nothing.
I'm not going to participate in the trial without the Steele.
So he's saying, I'm not going to participate in the trial without the lead attorney, that's for Thug, and the judge is going to say, I don't give a fuck.
You don't have that luxury at this point in time, sir. You don't. You don't have that luxury. You don't have that luxury at this point in time. You don't.
Without the court addressing the issue that we believe the is germane.
Sir, you all are really getting yourselves cross purposes at this point in time.
I don't believe so.
Sir, I'm telling you, you are at this point in time. You made some things out of nothing. I think that you're on very precarious ground at this point in time. So I'm telling you at this point in time, he's in custody. We're going to go ahead and start. You can represent Mr. Williams. That's okay. That's fine. I'll take up the other stuff as needed, but I'm not going to take it up right now.
Respectfully, I will not.
Say again?
Respectfully, I will not. I cannot. And
Sir,
technically, I
you have to.
feel as though I can properly represent Mr. Williams
Well,
until this issue is addressed.
you're gonna have to do the best you can at this point in time, because you don't get to extort the court. That's what you're attempting to do at this point in time, sir. Yes, you are. What you're trying to do is, I'm not going forward if I don't get this. You know, it doesn't work that way, Mr. Adams. And I'm telling you at this point in time, I would just kind of govern yourself accordingly, sir. I'm telling you, as the court, under these particular circumstances, everything will come out as it should. I don't think,
Doesn't address it.
sir, I don't have enough information at this point in time to address it. I don't. But I'm telling you at this point in time, there is nothing that was given, said, whatever, this morning that.
If there is any action.
Now, I'm going to be honest. This is such a big deal that let's say Young Thug gets found guilty. This is probably going to be one of the main things that is used to form a grounds for appeal, right? Yo, this witness, which, by the way, it's been bullshit witnesses all towards this point. This guy, YSL Woody's supposed to be one of the main guys who could corroborate certain events that revolve around the main crime, around the death of Donovan Thomas and other violent incident that supposedly YSL is in. So this guy, Woody, not testifying is a huge thing. And if it's the belief of the defendants that he only testified because the judge kind of forced him, this is huge.
Receive some of the information that we are.
But sir, I don't even know. Your co-counsel won't even tell me who said whatever. Okay. And the challenge I'm having in this particular circumstance is that is such a violation of the sacrosanctness of the court's chambers and an ex parte conversation. You're just glossing over that. You're glossing over that in its entirety. No,
Violation of Mr. Williams' rights.
it's not, sir. Sir.
Is not.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. I'm just telling you, that's not what happened.
Judge, respectfully, we are not obligated to simply accept that there's been no violation. We believe that there has been, and the only.
Okay, well then you've made your. No, we're not doing that at this point in time. So you'll have a choice to make. All right, take Mr. Steele into custody, please.
Your Honor, would the court afford me one moment to confer with counsel regarding the appropriate remedy in this type of.
Okay, all right.
So he gets locked up.
May I say one thing, Your Honor?
Yes, sir, you certainly may.
Mr. Williams does not wish to go forward without me being here. You are removing me against his will, my will. You're taking away his right to counsel. And you're conducting material parts of this trial without me present, and I can't learn about it by watching online. So for that reason, additionally, I asked for a mistrial. And I assume you deny, but I'd like you to deny our motions for mistrial. You denied the other people.
I've denied your motion, but I'll certainly take that under advisement, sir.
Okay, so he gets locked up. He should be free now, if you guys are wondering. He was only held in contempt and was supposed to be jailed until 5 o'clock. which was going to be the end of the court day, which obviously right now is 7 o'clock Eastern time, which means he should be free. Okay. Again, these are lawyer games. They're not trying to really lock him up like a criminal, but it's like, the judge is really, he might be ego tripping, but he's trying to put his foot down, and Brian Steele's also trying to put his foot down, trying to make sure Young Thug doesn't get found guilty, because even though, there's a lot of grounds for appeal, but you rather your client beats the case, right? These are some other lawyers that's reacting to Brian Steele getting taken into custody. Someone says, whoa, Brian Steele is now confronting Judge Glanville about an ex parte conversation between the judge, the DA, and a witness. Steele says this violates the Georgia Constitution. Glanville wants to know blah, blah. Andrew Feischman says, obviously the source was the lawyer for the witness. We all know that. So it's the lawyer for YSL Woody. And obviously it's wildly improper to try to swear that lawyer to secrecy. Then someone else says, apparently these are all lawyers, says, I mean, I know literally nothing about this case, but how could a judge have an ex parte with the DA? And this other person says, the judge seems to concede that it was an ex parte conversation with the DA to persuade the witness to testify. And it strikes me that they didn't want Brian Steele there because he would have correctly objected to it. Then someone says, I mean, how does that not instantly end whatever case this is? And then someone says, if this case ends, it's only going to be because another court steps in, I suspect. They're basically saying this shit is just like some wild shit going on. You get what I'm saying? Then Bradford Cohen, we had him on here not too long ago. He says this case and this judge is off the reservation. This is an instant mistrial. I can't believe the judge thinks taking a defense attorney into custody isn't a mistrial. Brian Steele is a real one. Defense attorneys across the country should be terrified by the lack of judicial knowledge. Okay? So it looks like they're kind of getting Brian Steele's back on this, right? The case is still going on currently. I actually do have one more thing in regards to this where I could post. Give me 1 second. And it's essentially the other lawyer for Young Thug, the black one. He's also backing Brian Steele by basically saying, yo, judge, you're out of line. So this is right now lawyers versus the judge. The DAs are just chilling out. But these are the defense attorneys versus the judge. And I believe this will get posted in a second. By the way, some Tory Lanez news just popped up. We're going to be talking about that in a second. Let me see. This is just taking me 1 second here. By the way, thank you guys for all tuning in. Damn, I didn't even think that we would actually have over 10,000 people, actually damn near 11,000 on the King Akademiks page, and I haven't streamed in a week. So, I'm always extremely humbled by all the support we get for all the streaming. Just the amount of people who even show up here. So I take this job like with the utmost seriousness and respect. And now that I'm back, I hope I give you all the entertainment. Okay, we're gonna get some more fun topics. I'm just kind of getting through some of I'm just getting through some of the hard topics where you guys want to just hear the information. We're gonna get some fun topics too. So just bear with me. Okay, so this is the last thing I'll play. So this is the other lawyer, and he's talking to the judge. He basically says he's sticking with Brian Steele.
Contempt if the court continues in that position. That leaves Mr. Williams represented, at least at this juncture, by myself. That puts me in a position of making sure the court is aware that I'm in receipt of the same information that Mr. Steele received. I'm of the same opinion that the court has engaged in behavior that I believe compromises and corrupts the continuation of this trial. I do believe that we are entitled to and should receive a copy of the transcript so that a full investigation can be made as to what we believe has occurred here. And so I take the same position as Mr. Steele. I am asking for a mistrial, as he did previously, and I'm telling the
By the way, these are all formalities. The judge is going to say no, right?
court that
Like, it doesn't, like he said no to 3,000 attempts at a mistrial.
I do not believe that we can proceed at this point based upon the information that we've received.
All right, sir.
And frankly, I don't believe the state has any say in that. My statements are in regards to my representation of Mr. Williams. And if Mr. Steele is going to be held in contempt, I have exactly the same position. I also do not
Well,
believe
I asked him, so I didn't ask you.
Yeah.
So essentially, this black dude was saying, you could lock me up too, because I feel the same way like he felt. Y'all fucked up. Y'all did some crazy shit in this case. Y'all should have never talked to this witness in some private little setting to try to get him to testify. That's fucked up. And he's like, yo, if you're going to hold my other co-counsel, which is Brian Steele, in contempt and lock him up, you could lock me up too. It's like, this is like my song, like Picketing saying, yo, just lock me up. And the cops are like, nigga, nobody give a fuck about you. So the judge literally says, nigga, I asked him. That's why I held him in contempt. I asked you. Shut up, nigga.
So, but I'll leave it at that. Okay.
Okay. All right. Enough of this. So, just very interesting. What a lot of people do believe, and if you want my analysis, but also for what many attorneys and very seasoned people in the judicial system has said about this trial, is that this trial is either going to end in a mistrial, or no matter what happens, or unless Young Thug is found not guilty, it's automatically going to be appealed, and they believe the appeal will be granted. There's just too many things and too many little nuances that should have been addressed to make sure that Young Thug and his other co-defendants are having a fair trial that have been ignored, or things that have been like just missed. So it's either going to end in a mistrial, or like obviously the one option would be he's found not guilty, which I don't think the prosecutors would try to do this again. They'll be like, fuck it, go ahead. Right? A mistrial, I think they would still try to do it again. Well, actually, if they get found not guilty, you can't do it again, right? But I think that's whatever. But it's looking like the judge and the DA are kind of making it kind of seem like he's going to get found guilty. They're not going to do a mistrial. Mistrial, they would probably do it again. So they would probably just hold Young Thug in jail, or they'll start going back to court saying, hey, listen, because you let him out on bail, which they've seemingly refused to do. But it would be like the YNW Melly thing, right? Even though that wasn't a mistrial, that was actually a hung jury that actually got called a mistrial, right? I think that was correct. Regardless, this case ain't going nowhere, bro. Like, it's not going nowhere. But I will caution anyone who thinks Young Thug's about to be free. He's just not. Like, he's just not gonna be free, bro. Like, if you ask me from how this looks, I would be shocked if Young Thug is even out in 2025. This case is gonna go for the extent of this year, probably into spring, maybe summer, maybe even winter of 2025. There's going to be other development, other drama. Maybe at some point it's a mistrial, which they got to start it again, which that's going to be another 2 to 3 years. Or let's say they get, I don't think it's going to result in an innocent verdict. Let's say he's found guilty, then he's going to go to appeal court. Honestly, I don't think we see Young Thug still for another 2 years. 2 to 3 years. And that's if shit goes well for him, right? Let's say it goes to a mistrial. Now, this is the way how to get out of this, right? Fonnie Willis is getting killed. Like, her prosecution of Trump is basically halted. Her misconduct hearings about her fucking, the special prosecutor got her under fire. If you don't know, a district attorney is a elected position. So the people have to elect you, which means eventually you are working in the best interest of the people. Now, after you've gotten a lot of bad press for trying to convict or trying to prosecute a former president, now we found out that you're fucking a special attorney or a special prosecutor, that you overpaid, that nobody's ever got paid that money for being a special prosecutor. If you're trying to, because if you don't know, Fonnie Willis took this case as, hey, I'm going to show you why I'm good for this. You know how sometimes black women will show that they're strong by going at black men because, if a white woman does it, you'll call them racist. That's Fonnie Willis' thing. It's a Kamala Harris strategy, right? Like, yo, I'm going to go at these gangbangers. You know, because if it was a white woman, like people would just say this is racist, right? But you have a black woman going against these black guys who supposedly are ruining their own communities, even though they're popping bottles and wearing chains. People allow that. Atlanta is a very predominantly black, district in terms of like, demographic. However, after this Trump shit, this just isn't going to be a priority for Fonnie Willis anymore. It's not going to gain her no brownie points by putting Young Thug in prison, right? So out for this is a mistrial, and subsequently in the next couple of months, the prosecution or the DA office realized they got so much other shit going on, Trump about to actually run for presidency, they're going to just say, fuck it, we're just not prosecuting these YSL dudes, or we're going to just chalk it up as a win on our book by giving everybody time served. Because these guys been locked up for a while, right? So that's really the best outcome. I think if you're a Young Thug fan and you're like, I hope he's innocent, I hope he's innocent, you're going to be very disappointed. Like, he's going to get found guilty or mistrial. That's it. Like, just think logically. Like, you know what I mean? Like, also, these people on the jury, like, they're also frustrated. Every 20 minutes, they get told to leave the court. Hey, could you leave the court? We have like 15 motions to get to. Hey, could you leave the court? We got to talk to the witness. Hey, could you leave it? Like, they're fucking frustrated. They're not making no money. Half of these. So there's a lot of frustration going on. So what I think is going to happen is that it's going to be a mistrial. And then based on what's going on with Fonnie Willis, this office is going to choose not to go through this whole process again, but they're going to try to get the W by saying, oh, Young Thug took he took a 15-year probation with time served, but he's free now. You get what I'm saying? And it'll be a PR win, but it's just a waste of money. But at least they don't look completely stupid by getting beaten in court or by just, looking like complete frauds by saying, hey, we're not going to prosecute again if it's a mistrial. You get what I'm saying? So I think that's what's going to happen. But I still don't think we see Young Thug for 2 to 3 years. I would be very shocked if Young Thug gets out this year and next year, at least in the early part of next year. So for the next year, I don't think we see him. Does he get found guilty? I don't know. I think if this isn't a mistrial, which, by the way, this judge, here's another thing, too. The ego of man is so strong. I could tell this judge.
So Brian Steele, aka Young Thug's lawyer, got arrested in court. Man, I want to keep it a beam right quick. This whole case is just ratchet and ghetto, bro. Like, it's not much else I could say besides the whole case is just ratchet and ghetto. Your lawyer getting arrested, bro. Like, ain't gonna lie, bro. If my lawyer is getting arrested, do you feel like you're generally gonna beat the case? And then, even though Ack was talking about a mistrial and stuff, I generally feel like just how like with YNW Melly they called a mistrial and he was immediately charged back again. They're gonna do the same thing with Young Thug, and it's gonna drag out 1-2+ years over and over and over. I ain't gonna lie, it might be sad to say, unless Young Thug could get out on like Ack said, like a 10 or 15 years probation, which you know how that probation stuff works. You go into 10-15 year probation, the way those guys live, 1-2 years max, they're failing it, and then they gotta go back and serve the remainder of their time. But I mean, they got a bunch of money and the best lawyers in the world, so they'll probably find a way to get through it, get prescriptions for all the drugs that they need, because most of them are drug addicts. You feel me? It's one thing I really want to say, bro. Gunna got out, he got fit as hell. Young Thug in there getting chunky. Like, before, Young Thug looked like he weighed 120 pounds soaking wet. Man, it is crazy. Like, it's crazy how times change. But if your lawyer is sitting there getting arrested, my dude, it's a problem. You feel me? I don't know if he did a good thing by saying what he said. And when I say that, I mean like giving the judge like hints that, oh, it was people in the private hearing who were saying stuff, which, you feel me, shouldn't be happening. But Hey, we don't know, bro. I don't know. Now he has to spend 10 weeks every single weekend for the next like 10 weeks just locked up. And Brian still's gangster as hell too. Because he said, lock me in there with my client. So he wants to be locked in there with what's his name, bro? With Thug. Like Act said, bro, this man, Thug must be giving this man like millions of dollars, or I ain't gonna lie. These criminal lawyers, a lot of them, they're you feel me? They love this stuff. Like he probably it's probably like a movie for him. Like this whole case and stuff, depending how it goes, YNW Melly's life could be a movie. They can make TK's life into a movie. They can make what's going on with Young Thug right now into a movie. 50 Cent could probably adapt and make all that stuff. They can make the King Von stuff a movie. Like, they really could just make movies about everybody, bro. For real, for real. But hey, man. Let me know how you guys feel about everything, bro. It's your boy Big Act News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And free Thug. Do y'all think Thug is gonna come out or he's locked up for good, man? Let me know in the comments below. It's your boy Big Act News, and I'm out.